just a little impromptu live. I've got a bit of a walk until I get to the train stop. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Not sure if it's listening to the headphones or not, but we'll give it the best shot. So today I had a really enjoyable time. So Mindy Willens was in town, and we spent some time down at the Chicago org. Really enjoyed the time that we spent down there. We talked a little bit, showed her around the org. We did some protesting. She was able to confront some Scientologists. That was very enjoyable. Then we headed over, had some coffee. There was Israel Brownstein was out as well, so definitely want to follow Israel Brownstein over at Israel Brownstein 7700. Mindy Willens is at Mindy Willens. And then we had Style Audit 1A was out. Then we switched over to Wendy Wanders the City, and we took a little tour of the city. So that was very enjoyable. And we met up with Nance Drew. Nance Drew met us up at Millennium Park. Millennium Park. And we had just fun time conversing, showing them I'm a proud Chicagoan. I love showing off my city. It was very fun to do that as well. And then Israel, Mindy, and I had dinner. We went to Lou Malnati's. Very enjoyable. Just great conversation. And just wanted to kind of come on and say I had a wonderful day, and it was fun seeing Mindy. I will say that I apologize. I know I was a little bit distracted in both the channels. I'm very strange. I feel like I have to play host. So I'm always watching out more for the other streamers to make sure that things are going well for them. And I know I sacrifice our Hi Bridge. Thanks for being. I know I sacrifice my channel a little bit and our audience a little bit. And I appreciate that you all give me that patience, that I can be a good host to those that are out here. So for those of you who don't know, Mindy's been kind of touring a little bit. She was up in Portland last few days, had a couple interviews with Jackson was one of the interviews, and then darn it, Jeff Hawkins I think was the other interview that she had done. Hey Nance, great seeing you. Hey Eric, great seeing you. It was kind of fun because things are tough in LA right now for protesters, right? The environment is tough. Both, a lot of it is internal through the protest society and all of that, but I think that Mindy had a good time seeing what the org was like. We talked about different ways that you can confront the Scientologists. What are some other questions we can ask of them? Thank you, Joshua Carney. Really appreciate that. Hey, Bridge. Thank you, Fuzzy Pink Handcuffs. How did you guys think the day went? And I apologize again. I feel poorly because I was paying more attention to those who I think were guests in the city I love, right? So, howdy Rainstar, great to see you. Hey folks, if you're not already subscribed, get out there to Eric Rader's channel. When it's not 4,000 degrees in LA, you're going to see him out there tacking up flyers to every phone post in the greater Hollywood area. Howdy MD Media, great seeing you as well. Again, another one of those people that, when physical ailments aren't prohibiting him, he's out there. Lemme. I am a Scientology protester here in Chicago. I will tell you that Scientology is a group that holds themselves out to be a religion. They are tax-free in many nations, including the United States. But at the end of the day, they're a money-hungry cult, and they have many abuses and crimes that they commit. Pink, can you make sure that we've got subs set correctly? So what do I do on this channel? For those of you that are probably seeing me because I'm streaming vertically, and yes, we get a lot more breadth in this space. I rail against Scientology, and my biggest complaints about Scientology are the idea that they're a money-hungry organization that, unlike other religious elements around the world, money doesn't flow through the Church of Scientology. Money goes into the Church of Scientology. That's their financial problem. The other problem that they're going to have is that they're human traffickers. What does that mean to be a human trafficking cult? If you join the Church of Scientology and they decide you join the Church of Scientology, I'll say in Clearwater. Now, we all know that people don't typically join in Clearwater, but if you join in Clearwater and Scientology decides they need somebody in Battle Creek, Michigan, you're going to be moved to Battle Creek, Michigan. If you're married, so what? I want you to go to Battle Creek, but your wife is going to stay here in Clearwater, right? So the idea that they move you without your desire, consent, or permission. That's one form. Another form is they will heavily recruit in other nations to bring you over with religious visas into the United States. And once you're here, they will hold your passport hostage. They will not have you here for religious reasons. You won't do anything that is helping further a religion in this space. And when your time is up, they will hide you from the immigration services so that you can continue to stay here even though you're violating the visa that you're here with. All right, heading across here. Sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to traffic here. So another one is that children aren't sold into slavery per se, but it's a bounded choice. So the idea of if you have a child and you're in Scientology, you may be asked to have your child join the Sea Org. And at that point, thank you, Michelle and Reese. At that point, you're going to your child is then going to become de facto property of the church. Now, they'll be given a guardian, and legally it'll look like it's on the up and up. But at the end of the day, you don't have a guardian or a parent who's watching out for you, looking out for your best interests. I am so sorry, Fuzzy Pink. I just wanted to kind of do an impromptu and talk about how great the day went and how pleasant it was to have a great conversation with Israel and Mindy in this space. Continuing on with one of the reasons that I am protesting the Church of Scientology is the child abuse. So one thing that happens inside of Scientology is they have a thing called auditing. And what this is you're supposed to have taken a class, right, in certain things. And one thing an auditor is doing is kind of testing you on that class in regards to what's going on. But also, they will ask you other questions about, have you done anything wrong or against Scientology? And they're looking to find things that they can hold against you. But worse than that, the auditor, who oftentimes is very young, will have to sit in a room and listen to somebody talk about some of the most perverse desires that they might have, and they might even talk about actions they've taken. And these actions would include potentially abusing or violating a child. And now you're a child, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, listening to this adult tell you these stories and these horrific crimes that they've committed. So, yeah, I think I have good reason to protest this organization. Now, how do I protest the organization? I really want to make sure that people don't join Scientology. That doesn't mean that I don't want to help people get out, right? We've got SPTV Foundation, we've got Aftermath. Those are important. I think there are people who are better educated and can talk Scientologese much better than I can. And it's important that they are helping equip me so I can talk to some of these Scientologists and try to help them reason about why they shouldn't be in here, right? But what I really try and do is I stop people from entering Scientology. And one of the ways that I've found that I'm most effective in that process is that I will wait until they do body routing. Now, body routing is a Scientologist taking some flyer, usually a misleading flyer, out into the community and handing it off to somebody. And this might be The Way to Happiness, it might be a Dianetics book, it might be human rights, Criminon, Narcanon, Youth for Human Rights. What else have we seen out here? But they're going to hand off a flyer, and that flyer is going to direct you back to the organization to come in and just have a little chat, right? And it's very, very misleading because these flyers don't say anything about Scientology. Sorry, trying to navigate the road here. What I do is I follow the Scientologist around, and when they hand this flyer off, I will talk to the people that they've handed the flyer off to and explain to them what they just received and why they shouldn't keep that. And usually then they'll say, I'll ask them, do you want the flyer? And they'll say no, and I'll take it, and I'll say thank you. So it's really that my goal is to help people not go through the pain and suffering of people like Eric Rader, right? So for those of you who don't know, Eric Rader is not only a protester, he's also a former Scientologist. He's been punished by this organization that harm. His life has been made dramatically worse because of his association with Scientology. Oh, Felipe, yeah, that's a very common practice, right? They're going to send you these books, flyers, and they're very low level. We talked to somebody at the org today. We had a good conversation with this person. He had gone in, he came out, and right, there's the 21 precepts in Scientology. But at the end of the day, those 21 precepts are common knowledge. If you were to look anywhere, right, it's, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is not something that's earth-shattering. And L. Ron Hubbard didn't think up these ideas. He usurped them from Eastern philosophies, Eastern religions, other religions, right? The Judeo-Christian world. None of these are origin thoughts. So I think it's really important that we all understand that. And Eric, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And yes, I do. One of my favorite things to tell the people in Chicago that are out body routing is that, yes, I'm the reason your stats are down, right? And reminding them that, don't worry, stats all over the world are down. Scientology is dying. Right? You're on the wrong side of history, folks. If you want out, let us know. We'll help you. Yeah, I love that. Adam says Hubbard was conceptual pickpocket. And 100%. Now, I will say this. He was clever. There's no doubt about that. He understood, right? There's the saying that we all know, right? If you want to get rich, write a book. And it's like, no, if you want to get rich, start a religion. And he understood how to manipulate people in such a way that so much similar to so many other cults that are around there. We have these charismatic people that help benefit people with the most innocuous, reasonable, common sense elements. So it's, yeah, again, I don't want to say that he's a genius, but he wasn't the dumbest man in the universe in regards to what's going on. Natalie, today we have 46,000 steps. So, and I'll say this: we got Nance Drew to walk around a little bit. You know, she's got some mobility issues. She wears a brace. You know, she can only do so much. We had Style Audit 1A out and walked her around town, but Israel was walking around like crazy, and yeah, there's no stopping Mindy Willens either. Mindy Willens. So when my company does steps challenges, I'm a sought after person. There have been times where I've done 1 million steps in a month. And that's going to be the height of marathon training. And then you've got, you know, a 20 miler a couple of times a week. You get to run that 26-mile marathon. You get some steps in. Nance, it was great seeing you out there. Hope you had a great time. Mindy was thrilled to have met you. She was very excited, and she wanted to make sure that we could get to meet you. So hope that, again, just a great feeling. So, all right. Any other questions? You get me for, let's see here. We've got about a 2-mile walk ahead of us. Nice. Adam, that works too. You've got about 2 miles to ask me anything and to really frustrate Fuzzy Pink Handcuffs, because I'm going to stay vertical for that 2 miles. And I don't know why, but when I do YouTube native, there used to be an advanced screen, and on the advanced screen, I could change to horizontal, but I can't find the orientation on the advanced screen anymore. So, yeah, Bridge, 100%. It was a con man. And something that's interesting, I've been doing a lot of study about how to be a good cult leader. There's a show on Netflix about that. I want to, Natalie and I have plans to do a little bit of as a never-in, how does this show up in Scientology? These attributes of a cult leader, and it's rather obvious how those elements do show up. More often than not, when we talk about cults, we are typically talking about the founder creating a cult, bottom right. Okay, so I see 3 dots. See, 3 dots is share. I see the shopping. Bottom left? No, community moderators, chat filter. What's this plus? Oh, okay, gotcha. So before I go live. And you know what? I did look there. Sorry. I'll try to be more persistent next time before I go there. Hey, Perth, great seeing you. that I know we have the Melbourne, but it sounded like there's a gathering happening over there in Perth as well. So if you're out there in Australia, or if you'd like to visit Australia, I'm sure that Perth would love to have you. Howdy, Pup Groomer. Great seeing you. You want to see some great resources on what kind of printed material you can put out there? Definitely head over to Pup Groomer. It's a really nice night here in Chicago. Feels like it might be the mid 70s. The sun's gone down, so. Yeah, Felipe, I'm sorry, I'm going to say Felipe, and I apologize if I'm not saying it correctly. But at the lowest level, Scientology, in order to help bring in the unsuspecting victims, you can hold on to your old beliefs. You want to be Jewish, you want to be Scientologist? Go ahead and be Jewish, be a Scientologist. You want to be Catholic, you want to be a Christian, you want to be Presbyterian? Go ahead and do that. You want to be Islamic or Muslim or Islamic? Go ahead, join us. However, if you want to start going up the bridge, yeah, you're going to have to sacrifice yourself from that. Pup Groomer, thank you so much for the subscriptions. Hopefully anybody that's gotten one knows to be grateful. Hey, Pharaoh Cheryl, how you doing? Pharaoh Cheryl, please check your email. I'm trying to get a hold of you. Let's do something. Oh, look at that. Eric Rader with a membership. Awesome. Today at the org, if you were watching the stream, we did have somebody come out. They were in the area because they were trying to get their passport renewed, and they just went in on a lark, right? And we probably had about a 20-minute conversation, and we talked about, hey, what are the nice things about, at the lowest level, Scientology seems to be such a safe, beneficial organization. And that is a fairly true statement, that at the earliest steps, you do hear an awful lot of niceties and, oh my gosh, this is an organization trying to save the world. And this is the start of the boiling frog problem, right? So, oh, come on into the pool. The water's so nice. And the frog is so happy about the idea that, oh, this is rather comfy and cozy. And then all of a sudden you're putting thousands of dollars out to become OTX, and you're being punished, and you pay for your punishments, right? So you do something wrong in Scientology, somebody writes a knowledge report on you, you're going to be audited. You're going to be pulled in. You're going to have a conversation. You have to pay for that conversation. So you get paid, you pay to get penalized in this organization. And that is that ugly element that says, right, you don't realize that the water temperature is rising. Sorry, kind of scrolling up a bit here. I assume that Fuzzy Pink Handcuffs retracted a message about her cursing me going vertical. Yeah, you know what? Again, that I love my mods. I love how much they really try to help me and help promote the channel. And they know that I am all about promoting all the other channels as well. That I come on, and I'm sure that Fuzzy just smacks her head in my, oh my gosh, who do I have to look up now? So, and I appreciate that. Yeah, the hardest working typing fingers across the YouTube spectrum. Really appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and walk across. I could tell I was walking up on somebody who didn't really want to hear somebody talking behind them. Nice. Yes, that's awesome. So every time I step, Fuzzy has to drop a link. I think that Cubs might be out there. Again, there's these people that I broadcast so loudly and so vocally because I really love that they're just out every day, right? And folks, if you can go out once a year, go out once a year. I'm still your fan. I really do appreciate the fact that you're doing something, and great that I appreciate it. Who cares? The former Scientologists, who they can't be at every org, and sometimes they can't be there because, right, we've heard Nora say this before, that early on it was a little bit damaging to me to go to the org, right? It was a triggering experience. We're walking up Milwaukee, so sorry, we just walked past, that would have been Chicago, so we're following the blue line. If I didn't want to get so many steps in, I'd put you guys on the train. So, but you can't really see too much when we're on the train. Oops. Yeah, Bridge, I absolutely will. And that was one of the things that I really want Mindy to come back again someday. And I want us to do Dan Walks LA, but I want us to do Dan Walks LA here in Chicago. By the way, Dan Walks LA, if you want to come on, let me know. If you want to come to Chicago, let me know, and we'll walk Chicago. Sorry, what I was saying there is that, yeah, I have an affinity for these people who are out every day as a never-in, and I know that Eric's not a never-in, but these never-ins who, in support of the people who have been punished by Scientology, always want to be out there. Yep, Adam, we were out at the Monadnock building today. By the way, there is a cool store inside Monadnock. There is an actual handcrafted hats store inside of there. Darn it, it starts with an O, and just to be a jerk, now Fuzzy's doing a big search right now. So, Perth, one thing, just before you put that comment up, I switched from my right hand to my left hand. So my right hand is now resting by my side, while my left hand is holding up the phone. Now, the Monadnock building, and again, I'm going to say that I have an affinity for this city, that Chicago was one of the architectural behemoths of the world, and yes, it was mostly because the Chicago fire burned everything down. Optimo, thank you. Yes, Optimo is just an amazing, you go in there, you get handcrafted straws from felt straw hats, just awesome stuff. So I kind of want to comment on what Pup Groomer is saying right there. So Pup doesn't live near an org. That doesn't mean that she's not protesting. Earlier you heard me say, if you want to find some good literature that you can download and print out or share with any of your friends to help them understand what the abuses and crimes of Scientology are, Pup Groomer is your channel, right? You're going to be able to find all sorts of material there. And it's I can't do that, but I can do this. Well, doing this is good enough. And my expectation is that all the ex-Scientologists are very, very happy with that, right? Thank you for giving voice to us as ex-Scientologists who had to suffer through this. Hat sizing is really, really fun. And these are the hats. So some of you may or may not know, I used to ride bulls, and I was the cowboy, and I had the belt buckle and the cowboy hat all the time, and really enjoyed it. Well, one thing about a cowboy hat, and the same thing with most of those hats at Optimo, people don't realize they're supposed to be off your ear. So you're basically supposed to put 1.5 to 2 fingers between the bottom of the hat and the top of your ear in that space. Thank you, Thaddeus. Something that I've said this before. It's not a huge burden for me to be at this org. I work very close to that. Oh my gosh, Fuzzy, are you telling me that I have to be on for another hour and 12 minutes? Or is he East Coast? Not, so no. Only 12 minutes. Do I only have to be on for 12 more minutes? You know, something else, and I know that it was a derogatory term, but we've heard keyboard warriors before. Something that's kind of fun to do is go on the interwebs and find some Scientology orgs, and you'll notice that they have Google reviews. There might be times that you want to be able to leave a Google review. Theoretically, hypothetically, and all that fun stuff. Is there a Scientology business, so a WISE-led business in your area? Do you want to remind them that, hey, you know, now that you understand how the business runs, do you really need Scientology's WISE doctrine here? Or, you know, would you like me to help you out, or I can find you another place? That's what we need to do. We need to find places that would be able to help a business just the same way as WISE would, and help people understand. And I'm sure you could find places that would give you a commission to do this as well, right? We can give you the same thing that WISE gives you. And if you want some stupid hollow affirmation that we did something great, and here's, because of us, you're succeeding, so join us as a cult, you know what? How about we just tell you how to succeed in business and you give us a small fee? Nice, Perth. Folks, if you're newer to the channel, or if don't know that I've got another channel called Windy Wanders the City, and that's much more, you know, it's not as potentially polarizing as an anti-Scientology channel might be. We are on Milwaukee Avenue, and Milwaukee Avenue is one of the major diagonal streets. Chicago is built on a grid. So typically, if somebody gives you an address, you should know precisely how far north, south, east, or west they are, based upon that. Yeah, I do like the, go ahead and get your Braille skateboards. Get them while they're hot. Howdy, Ann. Thanks for coming in. Perth, I'm curious as to what you're asking if I know. And once I'm going to stop for a second. I want to see if Fuzzy gave me an answer to. Hey, Fuzzy, is Dave going live in 8 minutes, or is Dave going live in an hour and 8 minutes? Yeah, and I'm about to cross Damon Avenue. No, I lied. The next one I'm coming up to is Ashland. So Ashland, and then 400 blocks west of Ashland is Damon. Okay. Folks, if you can just hold with me for another 8 minutes, we're going to kick off Declare Dave. What's Declare Dave's topic tonight? By the way, if you're not a member, or, a subscriber to Dave, I strongly encourage you to do that. That, like Mark Bunker, like Sins of Scientology, it's really just a great platform to give you education on what does Scientology actually do, right? Eric, I have a friend who Tennessee has an annual road race, and that road race is you go from one side of Tennessee to the other. It's, I don't know, 400, 500 miles. About 2 years ago, he won that. And when you win that race, you're the king of Tennessee. I'm sorry, you're the king of the road of Tennessee for that whole time. Thank you, Grouchy. And just a reminder, folks, every once in a while, please do check your subscriptions. YouTube, if you aren't leaving comments consistently, or if you're sub to 1,000 other channels, there's 1,000 reasons that, for whatever reason, YouTube will remove your connection as a subscriber. So definitely, please check that. And just on a regular basis, try and do that with as many channels as you can. And by the way, I really appreciate that you subbed again. If we look at, I'm there's no singing, yes. Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let the pity sent. And I got to sing a little bit with Miranda Wallerstein. Mandy Williamson. Mandy Wilkerson? So. Oh. Fuzzy's gonna make me cry. Grouchy, you can be silent or you can be vocal. Something I wanted to, what I was trying to say is that I'm not 250,000 subs. I've been fairly consistent, and I will say very slowly, I have continually, slowly acquired subscriptions. And I greatly appreciate that. And the thing that I take out of this is that whether it's loyalty or the idea that people like what I'm doing on the channel, I really appreciate it, and the idea of 2,000 true fans is it's not as lucrative as 250,000 non-loyal fans, but 2,000 loyal fans is really pretty impressive. And I've always been impressed by how normal the communication is, and normal is probably a loaded word, how civil communication has always been in this. Like, the one thing that I hope that my mods never really have to deal with is censoring people when they're in the chat. So I really appreciate that. Oh, the fire department did respond on Facebook. Kind of thank you, we will take that under consideration, we'll open an investigation. But I haven't seen anything from that. Uh-oh. Now, Natalie, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. So today, I'm gonna turn this around for just a second, kind of show you what's going on here. We're up in Wicker Park, and you can see we've got the street closure here. Now the festival events are happening much further up the street, but there's a a street fair here this weekend in Wicker Park. And as we walk through there, I do want to have my eye out to see, is there going to be any Scientology propaganda or people trying to hand things out here? Hey, Juanita. And yeah, I do think, my hope is that you've always seen consistency in regards to what's going on here. I'm trying to be out there protesting. I want to do interviews. I want to be able to help educate people. So, you know, definitely appreciate that. And hopefully you're seeing that I am what I am, and that's all what I am. And if anybody remembers the cartoon that's from, you get an extra 3 credits this month. Ha! Yay, Eric Rader. Eric, I have a question. I don't remember if you were born in. Would Scientologists know about the cartoons of our childhood, or it's only after you got out that you know about cartoons and popular culture type things? I don't know why I'm walking on the sidewalk. We have a whole street that I can walk in here. So when did you, okay, so you guys did get to watch cartoons. I'm very much impressed by some of the exes and their understanding of popular culture, right? It's pretty impressive that having gotten out, that, oh yes, watch out for that tree. There were some that I really, really loved, like Speed Racer was cool to me. I liked the storytelling of Clutch Cargo, but I always hated how sophomoric the cartoon portion of that was, where right, it would be just still photos with moving mouths. All right, folks, you know what? I'm going to go 1 block west of here. And the only reason is that I don't want to undo my bag. My bag's got an awful lot of electronic equipment in it, and they're doing bag searches here. So, yeah, how about Adam? Yes, Davy and Goliath. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate that. And you know, I definitely took exception to, I think it's Jeff Jacobson. And the one thing I want to say is that it's the same old bad actor, bad act. I'm not personally against him. I just didn't like what he stated in that particular video, and the idea that I was lumped in as one of the people that was unkind. And especially even the clip that he took, the only thing that happened was after I very kindly asked the person that was in Scientology, a member of Scientology, can you tell me anything positive about this church? Usually they give me no response, at which point she had 2 green recruits in tow. So I then asked her, is there nothing positive about this cult that you can tell me about? And the reason I say that is so that the other 2 people who she's trying to recruit hear those words. I want them to hear those words, and I want them to equate the idea of, wait, somebody thinks it's a cult? Maybe I should do some research on this. So I appreciate it, and hopefully I've explained many times kind of the reason that I say and act some of the ways I do. And I will tell you that I kind of consider that you've got a staff member, and my approach to a staff member is typically different than my approach to a public Scientologist, is different than my approach to a civilian on the street. And my hope is that I'm doing that right. I will say that I feel comfortable and I feel good about how effective I've been in turning people away from the cult. There's the other side of that that says, I want everybody to know, I'm not going to stop Scientology in Chicago. I'm out there for an hour, and in that hour, we can see I'll stop 3, 5, 8 people from going in, but Scientology is going to be out there for another 12 hours that day, and I can't be out there for 12 hours. So over time, Scientology is going to be able to pull people in. I've always encouraged people, if you want to, come out and protest, right? We would always love more people in this space. And I do think that, and I do think that it's much more important than yelling. But I also want everybody to understand, I'm not telling you that yelling is wrong. Do I think that Pearl Snappy or Selfless get attention when they, yes. Do I think that Pearl Snappy and Selfless get attention when they're out in front of Scientology? Do I think that they really piss off Scientology? 100%. And that attention and awareness is valuable, right? It's not what I do, but it still is effective in its own way. And some people will react to that kind of engagement rather than what I do. All right, folks, I have some good news. You no longer have to listen to this bald fella pontificate. Our friend, Declared Dave, is on the air. Bozo Circus is on the air. If you could all do me a favor, go join whatever channel you want to right now, but I'd encourage you, and you'll actually get to see fuzzy pink handcuffs, in this space. So everybody, let's go over, listen to Dave, and get ourselves some education. Thank you all so much for being here, and I really appreciate the time you share with me.